Crayons franchisee webinar via Franchisee Apply. Now, as far as the Crayons is concerned, we've been there in the business over the past 5+ years, and having understood the in and out of the early childhood education, now we are looking forward to expand pan India our operations in franchisee as well. Um like it's inevitable that we are a early childhood education brand, wherein we cater to the preschool. Alongside the preschool, we also cater to the daycare audience as well, daycare segment as well. So, just to give you a glimpse about why you should be investing in the early childhood market. Now, to give you a demographic overview, the population of kids, specifically if I talk about the preschool age, which is up to 0 to 6 years, is approximately somewhere in the range of 18 plus crores. So, first things first, whichever business you're looking to invest in, it's important to understand whether the audience is there or not, whether enough audience is there or not for you to sort of think profitably about the business. So that is number one. That is pretty much sorted. India is a very, very young country. For the next 5 to 10 years, in fact, the young population is only going to increase. And even at the current rate, it's at that of 18 plus crores. It's a massive, massive market to be captured out there. Secondly, the Indian preschool market in 2019 was estimated around US $3.4 billion. Now, even in the pandemic, obviously the preschools could not physically open and physically deliver their service and physically deliver their offering. But even during the pandemic, the Crayons, at least us, our brand, right from the get-go, we switched to the online classes. And there was only a 10% dip in the fees that typically the parents give, on an average, that too. So more or less, the Crayons brand, or in fact, if I talk about the early childhood industry as a whole, even if there is something like a pandemic that happens, let's say the today there is coronavirus, let's say tomorrow something else comes, or the coronavirus pandemic just gets extended for whatever reasons. Even then, as far as this franchisee model is concerned, because the online classes continued to go throughout the season, there was no as such big loss of revenue or complete stoppage of business out there. So that's one benefit of investing in an early childhood business, that because you can any day switch to online classes, you are at least pandemic proof from that perspective. Secondly, the preschool early childhood industry, like I mentioned, is expected to grow by over 24%. It's an IMARC report that has given this particular statistic. Particularly in the tier 1 and tier 2 cities, people are now understanding the value of early childhood education before actually putting the child into the formal schools. The best part is, in the new education policy, the government has also given recognition to this early childhood bracket, wherein they've understood that it's a very integral part of the child's education. In fact, so much so that 90% of the brain essentially develops before the age of 6. So you want, at least from the government's perspective, that they give us formal recognition, and they've exactly done that in this particular new education policy. So when you're investing in this business, you've got the audience with you, you've got the numbers, you've got the volume, you've got the revenue, and it's pandemic proof. Whether the coronavirus pandemic stops, whether tomorrow something else comes, you can always continue, fall back to your online classes, and take it from there. To take you to the next slide, just to sort of have an overview of why is this a very hot business? Why is the early childhood franchisee business a very hot business right now in India? First and foremost, there is increased awareness, particularly amongst parents, and particularly we are now shifting to families having not more than 2 children, and in fact, now that number is dropping to 1 child only. So when you have just that single child, you want to invest in the education of that child, and you want to invest in the child's education right from the get-go. By the time the child is 6 years old, it's way too late, and you want a proper branded preschool early childhood education for the child, especially if there is only 1 or 2 kids in the family in that scenario. Secondly, it's a lot woman-centric. This particular business is a lot woman-centric. The additional advantage of having flexible hours, flexible working hours, if you're managing or owning a preschool franchisee, besides the natural instinct to sort of care for young children, that is there. And that's why I believe women play a very, very integral role in this early childhood business. because of which it is actually flourishing as well right now. Apart from that, there is minimum risk factor. The demand for early childhood is basically going to stay through and through and through. It's not as if 20 years down the line, suddenly the demand for early childhood will vanish. Children will be there, and the especially after the government's recognition for the early childhood, it's there to stay, come what may. Then a lot of the businesses, if you look to invest, there is a credit that you have to sort of keep in place or keep in proportion, keep in mind, keep in the equation. There's a certain time period only after which you get your money, only after which your balance sheet is sort of managed and all that. In preschool business, the advantage is that the parent pays you upfront, whether it's the annual or the admission fee or the registration fee, or whether it's the tuition fee as well. You generally get the quarter's fee in advance, or worse comes to worse, the monthly fee in advance. So this is a business wherein you don't have to rely on credit, and essentially you will have whatever running expenses, whatever revenue that you need on a month-to-month basis, you will have that coming to you in advance. So that's a massive, massive advantage of running an early childhood business. Secondly, as I've already talked, there's a rise in nuclear families, particularly in tier one, a lot in tier one, and it's actually now being seen in tier two cities as well, wherein more and more nuclear families are living. And because there's the only child, that is where the demand for daycare is also increasing, because now we find that both the mother as well, alongside the father, they are supporting the family's income, and they want the best care and education for their child, because affordability is there, and obviously as you grow, you want particularly in terms of education, you want the best education for your child. So that is why this is one of the hot cakes out there. Lastly, there is growing demand to give the child an edge in the formal schools. You have to lay a very solid foundation. Typically, if you just send a child to any random preschool or any random Anganwadi, wherein he basically just learns to sort of speak, sit, and stand, and maybe recite a couple of poems, learn or cram up ABCD 1 2 3 4. Parents now understand that formal school education is demanding that the child spends quality time in a quality preschool, has the foundations laid and set up before he actually comes to standard 1 2 or 3. So the growing demand for a structured preschool curriculum is ever growing, especially in tier one, two, and in fact in three as well now. So all the more reason for all of you who are looking to invest in early childhood business, that you guys invest in this business, in this sector, and invest in the crayons as well. Moving forward, I'd like to hand over to Mosby ma'am, our founder director, to sort of introduce the crayons brand before we get into the nitty-gritty details of the finances and stuff.
Thank you, Akshit, and good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to be with all of you today with us. I just brief about the crayons. The crayons is the first intentional teaching-based preschool in India, and where we designed our curriculum in such a way that we can give our kid a holistic learning environment in our school. And the curriculum is very much child-centric. See, once the parents come to your school, they will see what different they are getting from your school, from the other preschool. What different the crayons is providing is that we are the first and only one intentional teaching-based preschool in India right now. So what we know about the intentional teaching means we are working with the kids. We are analyzing each and every kid, and we are making our curriculum according to our kids, and that is called the child-centric, which helps in the holistic learning of the child. Means in the Crayon School, we are not only teaching them the academic is one of the major part, but apart from academic, we are working on their social and emotional well-being also. So this is all about the crayons. So Akshit, can you move to the next slide? And just little bit about myself. I'm the founder director of the Crayons School. I have recently got the Bharat Shiksha Ratna Award 2021. So I am in the field of education from past 15 years and continuously doing innovations in the curriculum. So by doing the innovations and by doing the day-to-day activities, different kind of activities, we can have that holistic learning. We can bring that holistic learning to our kids. Then I can say that we have recently got many awards. Like we got the Best Pedagogy Award 2021 for a best then the Best Preschool Chain Award India. For best pedagogy, what I mean is we got it for our innovations in the academics, innovations in the curriculum. On every month basis, we are adding some more innovations to our academics part, to our activity classes, so that kids have that fun of learning. They should like to come to this school, and that is the thing when you can have the attention of the parents also. Okay, my child is loving going to the school, and automatically he or she will refer his or her friends or the neighbors ki, my child is going to the crayon, so just try it and you can also send it, because we are totally satisfied. So one satisfied parent can bring more than 10 to 15 parents to you. So Akshay, please next slide, please. Yeah, so these are the awards. Like I have just told you that we got the Global Icon Awards 2021. That is for the Best Pedagogy Award Preschool in Uttar Pradesh. Then we got the Best Preschool Chain India Award in 2020. And I personally got the Women Educationist in Uttar Pradesh for in the field of education, as I am working in the field of education from past 15 years and working on the innovations for the kids. So these are some of the achievements which we got. Even when we are running our classes online, when the school is online, then also people liked our school, parents have loved us, and for them only we got this awards. So what is our vision and mission? So vision of the Crayons School is to make the education purposeful and playful. Purposeful means for the parents aspect, we can say the purpose of a parent is that when the child is going to the school, he or she should learn something. कुछ सीख के आएगा नया. बट बच्चे के लिए होता है कि हम खेलने के लिए जा रहे हैं, वो हमारी एक मौज मस्ती की जगह होनी चाहिए. So the vision of the school is to make it purposeful also, so that we can satisfy the parents, and the playful also, so that we can make our kids happy. Then what is the mission of the Crayon School? If I say, to provide a secure, hygiene and smart environment where our kids should learn smartly, should learn everything from a very early age. As Akshay said, this learning start from very early age, and the brain develops till the age of 6. So it's very, very important ki how we are providing our curriculum, how we are delivering them, how teachers are teaching, and how you are creating the daily basis curriculum in our school. Then we can say we are into the integrated learning approach with the help of child's inclusiveness. उनको जानने की इच्छा होनी चाहिए, उनको सीखने की इच्छा, वो हमें अपनी तरफ से उन्हें देनी है कि every child should say कि I want to learn this, I want to go to the school. So ये सारी चीजें academic के साथ साथ हमें बच्चों के अंदर inculcate करनी है, right? And then value based is to holistic learning, as I told you. Then creativity is very, very important. Like right now, आज के date पे, we are not into that कि my kid is going to the medical line or to the engineering line, but we can make them a different personality. If child loves to have the music, if the some childs love to have the drama in their activity, so we include music and drama. Through music and drama, we are creating our curriculum and we are providing to the kids. Then we always want the parents should be the stakeholders in our school. They should be, the school only runs when the parents and the school runs it shoulder to shoulder. So that is very, very important, and daily basis innovations in the school is very important that the Crayon School is doing. Akshay, next slide, please. Yeah. So this is what all about Crayons. The Crayon School is India's first preschool chain which believes in making education an interesting way of learning. Not like that कि regular जो बच्चा school जा रहा है, पढ़ रहा है and वापस आ रहा है. Apart from that, it should create interest in the parents and the child also. Then what is our philosophy is to make education interesting and uplifting, so that the child should have that the child should be self-driven personality. उसको ये push नहीं करना पड़े, parent को push नहीं करना पड़े, school को push नहीं करना पड़े, वो खुद से उसमें जानने की इच्छा हो. That is why we are using intentional teaching techniques. Then we are focusing on the multicultural education system, because nowadays it's very important for the overall development of the child. So for multicultural education, we are connecting with international schools. Also, we are running exchange programs with the international school, and for our teachers, for our franchisee partners, so that we could make our school best preschool. We can say the best preschool, not in India, but abroad also. So these are the things which we are inculcating. Then, as I told you, we are excelling in the providing technology-based learning, because apart from culture, we are now into the more technological world. So the child should be more known to everything, and he should be aware of what is computers, how it runs. So we are the very few preschools in India who are having the computer hub in there, or you can say the techie corner. We are calling in the techie corner in the Crayons School, where we have created a whole area for the kids to learn about the technology in the school. And every classroom is enabled with, you can say, the LED boards, which teachers are using to teach them, because kids learn more fast when they listen and see the things. So that is the important things which we are inculcating in the crayons. Then the most important is safety and hygiene, where we cannot compromise. And for safety purpose, our whole the school building is under CCTV coverage. Then we are using the QR code security system. When the kids entering into the school, or when the kids are boarding or unboarding the van, the teachers have that QR code to scan, and the parents will immediately get the notification that your kid has reached to the school. So these kind of things are very important nowadays. So to build such a kind of school that parents feel secure about their child. My child is secure when he or she is entering to your school. So these are some of the safety and security measures which the Crayons School has implemented. Yes, Akshit, next slide. Yeah. So these are the highlights which I have talked to you about the Crayons School. And now I will hand over to Akshit sir. So he will take it forward.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the lovely description of our academic program and how and why and what are the USPs of the Crayons Preschool. Now, we would just like to talk about, I mean, if you're investing in the Crayons brand, there are a lot of preschool franchisees that you can potentially invest. But where does Crayons stand currently in the market, and why you should invest your money, time, and energy in investing in the Crayons brand? So first comes first, we are not charging as such a very high royalty, in fact, any royalty for that matter. The startup cost is also very, very low. We are not charging in the tune of 20-25 lakhs that a lot of other preschool franchisees are charging you upfront. That could include the franchisee fee or the setup cost as well. So we are not necessarily a high risk upfront, high investment cost. That's not the case in our particular brand. The running costs are also going to be less. They're going to be minimal. We are not an ultra premium franchisee, or we are not targeting that target audience either, because so that we can mitigate your risk, and your risk initially upfront in your investment is as little as possible. Most importantly, your return. So whatever it is that you're investing in your first year, our target is that you get it back ASAP. And there is an ROI of up to 40% as well in the long run, wherein I just come to how you'll get up to a 40% ROI in the least time possible. Secondly, you'll have exclusive territories and management support. Regardless of whether you are there in the north, east, west, south, you will be having a dedicated relationship manager who will be taking after your franchisee. And secondly, in our particular Crayons brand, it's not as if you will be limited to the relationship manager or let's say the customer support or the training support people. You will also have direct access to the management should you ever need to talk to us and take any support on any front for that matter from us. Thirdly, you will have continuous marketing support. Generally, a lot of preschool brands, I mean, and this is something that you should know when you start a preschool franchisee, is that when you start a brand, typically based on the brand's pull, you will get some leads or some sort of admissions out there. But in the preschool industry, you need a consistent marketing for you to sort of sustain your enrollments out there. Now, the Crayons is going to provide you consistent marketing support through and through, whether it's offline or whether it's providing you leads via the digital marketing channel as well. So that is one of our key USPs as far as if you invest in the Crayons. Secondly, there will be complete pre-launch and post-launch support as well. So it's not just a question of opening your branch, giving you the brand name and the logo, and then just sitting back, and then just enjoying the royalty or something like that. Even post-launch, there will be consistent support in terms of recruitment of teachers, because teachers, every year there might be some attrition or something like that. And then there will be a proper training support as well for you, and the curriculum implementation as well. And then post-launch, whatever, with regards to whether it's marketing, operations, logistics, or even academics, all that support will be consistently provided you through the year. And then there is growth-oriented, transparent work policies as well. Extremely, extremely important when you invest in a particular preschool franchisee. The terms and conditions should be extremely clear. There should be no hidden charges, come what may, and the work policy should be very, very transparent. For instance, when we are going to be signing a license agreement with you, it's not as if 3 years after or 5 years after we are going to turn up and say that if you want to re-sign with us, then you have to pay a fee of, it could be less or more or equal to what you've already paid. But we're not, we will be having very transparent work policies, and whatever will be there upfront. So that is the Crayons advantage, I would say, to sort of sum it up. Moving next, extremely important again, that the support by the brand, this is, I think, differentiates one brand to the other. If you even the established brands for that matter, because they have an established brand right now, what they lack is the consistent support that their franchisee often requires. Now, the brand may be established, but you are new to the early childhood brand, and you will be requiring support through and through, not just for the first quarter or 6 months, but you will be requiring the constant support from the head office for at least the first 2 or 3 years, so that you've seen multiple cycles that happen through the year as far as early childhood is concerned. It could be with regards to tools and equipments or branding material. As far as even software is concerned, you don't need to be concerned. You will have a proper dedicated ERP, which will be provided by the head office, which will help you to manage all your fee-related issues, all your communication with the parents. You will have a portal wherein you'll be able to directly upload your daily photographs and daycare reports, and send fee reminders to the parents automatically. The security and the safety will also be integrated with the app. Like ma'am mentioned, the QR codes and all these things will be there. Regular training will be provided, not just to the teachers on the curriculum implementation part, but also to the principals and also to the management in terms of how to best manage the operations of the school, and what is it that you can do differently in terms of marketing, and how to convince the parents as well with regards to how to choose the Crayons vis-a-vis the nearby brands that are there near your setup. Then the stationery, marketing support, all of that will be there through and through. Visits and audits will also be conducted. Now, these audits are not necessarily to keep a track on what is it that you're doing or not, but to just ensure that there is no complacency on your part. And if there is something lacking as opposed to your competition nearby, those audits will give you an insight with regards to where are you lacking and where can we improve, and how can you increase your revenue from the get-go. And like I mentioned, whatever marketing kit, it could be banners, could be hoardings, could be flexes, could be pamphlets. You don't need to worry about anything, because that is something that we have our in-house team that will be taking care of the designs. Whatever monthly posts that it could be in regards to festivals or celebrations, all those designs and all those everything will be given to you by the head office itself. Now, moving forward to just give you a glimpse of the Crayons. Now, this is where some children, the very first photograph is that of our recently conducted sports day, wherein children enjoyed a lot. You can also see how the children are engrossed in their music classes as well. This is where once in a week, we also show them an audio video visual, which has to do with building value systems and so on and so forth. Children are also involved in multi-sensory activities wherein they're learning not just by writing or cramming up, but they're actually learning by doing as well. And then there is a sandpit activity that the kids are also involved in because they enjoy a lot, and also engrosses multiple sensory inputs out there. So coming to this part now, what will be the process? If you're interested, what will be the process of signing up with us, and how to go about it? So initially, there's an application and a DD that you have to make for 50K, and then you have to submit a letter of intent as well alongside that. Then you provide us if you have any search, if you have any location that you've already finalized on your part. If yes, then we sort of go through that. There's a proper approval system that our head office will look into. There's a basic minimum requirement of 2,000 square feet that we need on our part, and preferably should be ground floor. Preferably should have some playing area as well alongside that. So there are multiple things, multiple small things. There should be a pretty much open area, and the classroom should be well ventilated. So just like this, there are a lot of other factors as well, which we look into before finalizing the property. So once you get the approval, you need to sort of clear the basic site work and vendor payments, and then the material is provided alongside the installation, whatever local support you need. You don't need to worry about teachers and recruitment as well. That is something the head office assists with you. And whatever teacher recruitment and principal you will be requiring, or even an admin if you require, all that recruitment will be taken care by us. In fact, they will be trained by the head office team through a separate department that handles all this thing. Whatever pending documents and photographs, if at all they're left by that time, need to be submitted, and the letter appointment will be given to you. We will start, obviously, post that, working on the inauguration and startup as well. And not just during the launch, but even post-launch, the first 3, 6, 9, 12 months are very crucial, critical. You will be hand-holded through those every quarter as to how and which quarter is important in terms of enrollments, and how to convince parents with regards to why crayons and why not crayons, why not other brands. So all that support through and through, not just pre-launch, but post-launch as well, will be provided to our franchisee partners. Now, this is to give you a bit of a brief on how and what the payment structure is like. Now, typically what we've seen is in tier 1 and tier 2 and 3, tier 3 particularly, there's a huge difference between what the expectation of the parent is. Now, a tier 3 parent does not necessarily require all the bells and whistles of what a metro city parent requires. A metro city parent requires, and when you are living in a tier 1 city, you also have to sort of live amongst your peers and match at least the benchmark that is set amongst in the society out there. So tier 1 city requirements are very, very different as opposed to 2 and 3. And we don't unnecessarily want that if you're, let's say, a tier 2 candidate, we don't unnecessarily want to burden you with all the additional extra bells and whistles that a tier 1 branch might have. So the option will be there with you. Should you have the budget to sort of have that capacity, both financially as well as in terms of your space requirements that we need to set up these additional things, the option will always be there. But by default, tier 1, 2, and 3 breakup is given as follows, which is 750 for tier 1, 5 for tier 2, and 350 for tier 3. Now, what does this cost entail? What does this cost include? Now, this is the licensing fee that the brand requires, and that license fee is a one-time fee. That is not something that we're going to be charging you 3 years or 4 years or 5 years down the line when you re-sign with us. So that's purely a one-time fee. This cost also includes each and every single equipment and furniture for children that you will require in your setup. So you don't need to pay any extra penny as far as setting up your school is concerned in terms of the furniture that's required, and in terms of whatever toys, whatever, if any techie corner, all these things are to be set up, more or less this will be taken care of within this. Now, space requirement, as I've mentioned, there's going to be 2,000 minimum. We need 2,000, and preferably we need a playing area as well. In this 2,000 square feet, and if it goes up to 25, 3, 35, that's no longer an issue with us. What we generally discourage is that any site which is on the first floor, second floor, third floor, we don't encourage people to sort of go into that. It might also be that if it's very constrained and then the staircase have a huge height to them or something like that, we might even not allow to open the crayons in such a space and setup. So preferably ground floor all the way through. Some playing area as well, some grass area, some playing area, or some area over which artificial grass, even if it's laid, at least the children can enjoy during their free time. And we will be, and that's the best part of opening a Crayons franchisee, that we will work with you constantly so that we ensure that you get a 40%, minimum 40% ROI on your investment within a span of 12 to 18 months. These are some of the contact details. We will be sharing these contact details with you over mail as well. So feel free to reach out to us. And I suppose, should you have any questions, feel free to ask right now. We'll be taking some questions right now.